What happened to Kenta Maeda? Is MacKenzie Gore coming soon? Plus, we have buy highs. Let's talk about it next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Thursday, April 22nd. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Chris Towers, and let's talk about it. Kenta Maeda at the Oakland A's on Wednesday allowed 7 earned runs over 3 innings pitched. Chris, is there any cause for concern here, or would you be looking to buy Kenta Maeda?
Yeah, like if someone in your league is panicking about Kenta Maeda, I would definitely be looking to buy. I don't think he'll ever be as good as he was last season, but that should never have been your expectation for him. And don't make the mistake of having expected that and then being disappointed because he hasn't given you that. He can still be a very good pitcher moving forward. I think he still will be. It'll just be more in the mid 3s to low 3s ERA rather than, one of the best pitchers in baseball. I haven't moved him outside of my top 20 at starting pitcher. He's getting hit hard, and I think there's been some issues with his slider command, which when you miss, you can tend to get hit pretty hard. But I have no reason to think he won't figure it out. Kenta Maeda is definitely a buy low.
Dinelson Lamet exited his debut start on Wednesday with forearm tightness. He's been dealing with this forearm, elbow, bicep injury dating back to last season on the same arm that he had Tommy John surgery on already. And MacKenzie Gore, the top pitching prospect in baseball, does that mean he is coming soon, Chris?
You got to think it means he's coming maybe sooner than the Padres would have hoped for, because I'm sure they were hoping Lamet could stick in the rotation, and maybe he will. We don't know yet. But my assumption with most minor leaguers is that they won't get called up until they at least get some action in minor league games, which, that'll start happening at the beginning of May. So I think we're still a couple of weeks away from that happening. And I think the Padres probably came into this season hoping Lamet would be there, not necessarily relying on him. So Gore, I think, will still get called up when they think Gore is ready, not necessarily as a result of this. But we could be listening to this, and by Thursday afternoon, I'm wrong.
MacKenzie Gore is 48% rostered, so if you are looking for a prospect to stash, could be available in your fantasy baseball league. Normally in fantasy baseball, we look for players to buy low on and those to sell high. But how about buying high? I think in this type of situation, Chris, we're looking for players that are ascending, but people in your league might not realize how good they have been. So let's start. Skepticism is right. Trevor Rogers from your Miami Marlins, 7 shutout against the Orioles on Wednesday with 8 strikeouts. I've moved him inside my top 35 starting pitchers. Should you be looking to buy high, sell high? What do you think about your boy Rogers?
I haven't moved him quite that high, but he is definitely inside my top 40. And it wouldn't be out of the question to move him inside the top 30 with a couple more starts like this. He's throwing gas. He's got, multiple good secondary pitches right now. The only thing I do worry about is, he's probably not going to throw a ton of innings. He's only thrown 82 pitches in 3 of his 4 starts, only 1 start with more than that. So, innings could be an issue, and he may not pitch consistently deep into games, which could cap his upside. So, yeah, I would be looking to buy. I'm certainly buying into Trevor Rogers, but that doesn't necessarily mean, I would be looking to give up a solid I wouldn't trade Ian Anderson for him right now, to say.
Let's move over to the shortstop position and Javier Bias. People might not realize this because he's batting right around 200, but he was the 4th best shortstop entering Wednesday, and he hit a grand slam. He's now up to 5 homers, 5 steals, and 16 RBI. Chris, if you can buy high on Bias in a roto league right now, would you do so?
Yeah, I think he's a good buy high candidate for the reason that I think there's probably a perception that he's been less productive than he has been because he's struck out in nearly 50% of his plate appearances because, he's just been kind of a mess. But when he has been making contact, good things have been happening. And you just have to think he's going to get better in that regard at some point. And we know the home runs, stolen bases, he can be good for those. So I think he's going to be a must-start player moving forward. I think he'll get some of the contact issues sorted out. And so, yeah, I think there's a good opportunity to target Javier Bias. And get him from someone who thinks the floor is about to fall out.
For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. If you enjoyed the pod, please leave a 5-star review on Apple. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.